You know, I wasn't here Tuesday, but I'm here today, and I'm elated. I'm ecstatic. I am so happy because the winds of change are blowing, and we need that. And it seems that we're gonna have a new administration. The current mayor no longer is our mayor. Come June 30th, he will no longer have that job. And I got to say, I'm so proud of you guys for just standing up and voting for change, and you were not bamboozled by the free food and the free entertainment. If we're that shallow, then we're going to really have a problem. You know, my guest today is Rankin Easton. She's running for city council in Ward 1 against George Thomas. And, you know, she reached out to come here. I just been watching her. I've been on a couple of events with her, and I listened at her speak. And I mean, I was astonished because she talked about the problem in this city here, and I promise you, Rankin, I'm just gonna let you introduce yourself and tell the people why you're running, about your family, your job, and your education. Tell the people, and first of all, welcome. And also, we have in the studio is Miss
Teresa Gonzalez.
Yeah, Miss or Mrs.
Miss
Teresa Gonzalez. And so they're in the studio today, and Mrs. Easton is going to talk about her platform and why she's running for city council. But first, introduce yourself and say hello to the people.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm Rankin Easton, born and raised in Meridian. And I have found myself in the last 10 years really paying attention to politics and having time to read and all that. And I just saw a need to step up, and it's election year, and I looked up the qualifications to run for city council, and it's be 18 and live in your ward, and I thought, okay, why not, So here I am.
Well,
and I got more than that too, but just as far as the actual deciding to run for city council.
And the bar is so low. But of course, tell us about your education, your family. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Graduated from Meridian High. I have license in aesthetics and cosmetology. I enjoy music. I sing, write songs. And my husband's Cordera Easton. He's born and raised in Meridian, went to Meridian High, went to Ole Miss, played football in the NFL, and now he's here. He's got a business. He coaches at Lamar. He does a lot of things. And we have 4 kids. And my oldest is 14. She goes to Russell Christian Academy. I have a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old. They go to Meridian Classical Center for Learning. And I have a 1-year-old. And we just got a dog. So we have a lot going on at our house.
Yeah. So, gotta ask you to say something, Miss Gonzalez.
Actually, I met her husband, Cordera, before we met Rankin, and it's because he was coach at West Hills Elementary. So we met him through the elementary school, and he was reaching out to help the children right here in Meridian Public School District. So that's how we first met Cordera, and then eventually we came across Rankin. And we have kind of lived close to each other in Ward 1 and been kind of in the same roadways and things like that. And so meeting her and discussing some of the same things that we've seen and we've lived here 6 years, and so what's been here is still the same issues, and I've discussed that with her and many others and said, okay, has this always been this way? When did it sort of change? And she's been very insightful and helpful, and if she doesn't know something, she'll research it and find out and then come back to you and say, okay, I found this out, or I don't know,
right,
and I'll research more.
So what are some things that you see in Ward 1 that's lacking?
The big things that I see are a lot of the safety, the roadways. I did a whole lot of documenting today while I was walking from Firestone to my house because my van got all messed up. And I had to take it in finally because it wasn't drivable anymore. And so on my walk home, I documented along Poplar Springs. I documented 40th Street, just things like that. When I took my daughter to the high school this morning, I documented 26th Street.
So when you document, what is it that you document?
I take photos of the area. I do live streams of the area and things so people know in real time what's happening right then, if it's been raining and things like that. Or, that way they're not like, oh, well, that's from 2 weeks ago or, whatever. So they have an accurate, up-to-the-minute kind of update on what's going on in those areas. And what I've seen has been a lot of infrastructure. And my question, like say, she's going to research it a little more and stuff, is find out where we are on that $200,000 contract we had to look at the road assessment and the lights and things like that. And most of my concerns are for the safety of those children that are walking. We got hit People ran a bus stop sign and hit us. My friend got hit right there. And Rankin knows what I'm talking about because she's right there on that same street, and she sees the traffic flow between 40th Avenue down to 35th up to Poplar Springs, like that whole stretch. And I think that she understands that we're right on the line of Ward 1. But across the street from us is Ward 3 and Ward 5, and she knows that she'll have to work with those other council members, whoever they end up being in this next administration. And I think that we're in a good place now that we'll have a cooperative council in this next term to be able to resolve a lot of these issues that have been issues since we've moved here. So I think it'll be really great to have kind of that fresh perspective right there.
Is it anything else you want to say about in way of introducing yourself?
I go to Cornerstone Church, and we have an encounter night May 21st. Yes, May 21st, and that is from 6 to 9, child care provided for ages 10 and under. And it's just a praise and worship night. It's not exclusive to our church. We welcome the whole community. Last time we had, we know for sure, 5 different churches were represented. And so just praising God together and praying, and I mean, we are seeing a big move of God and a lot of optimism. I feel like a good energy.
So, what kind of events do you have planned for yourself for your campaign? Do you have any plan for your campaign?
Yes, I'm going to try to make it to the Earth's Bounty and Art Walk this Saturday, 8 to 1. I'm not going to be there all that time, but I'm going to try to get there in around noonish maybe, and I kind of want to hit up Weston's event at Temple Theater from 2 to 4 and just talk to him, and then if anybody there would like to talk to me, I'll be there. So got that, and really got a whole lot of different things going on in Meridian I'm going to try to be at.
I want to ask you, from what I understand, a lot of the department heads are not does not meet the qualification. Is that something that you would look at, department heads not having the required qualifications such as a college degree? I think a lot of those departments require a college degree. Would you look at that? And also another thing that I've noticed with this current administration, this Indian administration, employees being paid above their pay grade. Some of them making as much as $10,000 and $12,000 more than they should be. You know, when you apply for a job with the City of Meridian, it tells you the minimum pay say is $10,000 and the max is $20,000, and some of those employees are making $30,000. And I use that as an example. And you have other employees that are driving city vehicles, both marked and unmarked, outside of the city limits to their homes. Is that something that you will address, and what's your position on those things? I should have asked you one at a time.
Yeah, well, I guess as far as the qualifications, I guess, you know, if it's, you know, set in stone that they must have this good degree, that is something, you know, we need to look at. Or it may be they have like a really great wealth of experience in a field, and so they've really proven themselves with experience. So, you know, that'd be something I think, you know, people should care about that. You know, that could make them still be a good person for the job. As far as if, you know, using city vehicles for personal use, if that is not something that they're supposed to be doing, then, let's check it out.
Right. Okay. So what is it that you want to say to the peoples in Ward 1 that are watching this show, why they should vote for Rankin Eason?
I care. I've had people tell me, "Are you sure you want to do this? It's going to be a headache. This is going to go wrong. This is going to happen." And I'm just like, you know, why not? I'm tired of sitting on the sidelines. I've had enough time of sitting on the sidelines and observing and learning and talking to people. You know, I'm not one of those people that I have all the answers and I know everything. I am open to learning and meeting people and listening to new ideas. So that's something I think is important, because it's going to take all of us. It's not, you know, I'm going to get this position and then I get to dictate things and be in control. You know, I'm going to represent this ward of people, you know, basically a fifth of Meridian. So I'm all ears, you guys. If you want to tell me things that you care about, my phone number is on my campaign Facebook page, Rankin Elizabeth Eason. I have time for it. You know, I do have a lot of things going on, but I have a great support system. I have people that can help me with my children, and, you know, so it's fine. I can do this.
I got to ask you about the issues in Meridian, such as crime, such as education. What do you see as the most pressing problem, and how do we bring jobs into the city of Meridian? What do we do about crime? What do we do about all of that? What's your opinion on that? What's your position on those things?
Well, I see we have various issues. Just like we have a lot of good things going on, we got a lot of negative things going on. So I think it's a multitude of things. As far as crime, I don't look to the Meridian Police Department to be 100% responsible for that crime, because crime is going to happen. But why is it happening? We have an epidemic of like these 13, 14-year-old kids like killing each other and killing other people. I mean, when I was 13, 14 years old, I was at home like watching Nickelodeon and eating. I mean, so this is just, to me, so sad. It's so heartbreaking. And we can't just, okay, look over here at this really exciting thing that's taking place, and let's just not look over there at that. I think my heart breaks every time I hear about a shooting, every time I hear about a murder, a crime, especially when it's a child. My heart breaks, because those children are victims themselves,
Right.
And we got to get to, the bottom of that. We can't have parts of our city, being war zones. I was speaking to a citizen today. She doesn't live in Ward 1. I want to say she said maybe Ward 3, but is it 40th Avenue, wherever there was some shooting this week? She was telling me.
Probably Ward 4.
Okay, she was telling me, her experience, and it just broke my heart, because she was woke up out of sleep to these gunshots, and she's got 2 little girls, and one of them's a baby, and just thinking, living like that, like waking up to gunshots, not knowing where it's coming from, being scared. And so I think we've got to, we can't go in people's homes. I say this all the time. We can't go in people's homes and like take over and tell them what to do and tell them how to raise their kids, because we all know the home is the foundation. But we can reach this generation through their schools, through parks and recreation, things going on in the community, our churches. We've got to reach people. So the number one thing, honestly, I'll be honest, the number one thing I've been hearing from people, when I ask them what are the issues, what do you care about, I hear a lot about infrastructure and trash. They're tired of that, and I agree that I don't like that either. But I will say, for me personally, the people, I want the best for the people.
Go ahead.
I have to agree with Rankin. We had a personal issue at West Hills. Some kids were bullying one of my daughters, and I didn't know how to approach it, but then we started doing community cleanup out at West Hills, and then those kids saw us out there cleaning up, and then one day they were like, can we come help you? And then we just started a relationship with them, and now they get along great. So I think what they do, like their family and stuff, working with a lot of children and things, is how you break that generational cycle of just kind of like poverty and crime and things like that. Because my own son, he graduated 2019, and that's the year Miles Miller got shot, and the football player, and so I mean, just my kids alone have already had children from Meridian High School being shot and things. But if you get them while they're younger and engage them by living through example, that's going to go a long way. And they're always doing that. Like their family as a whole is setting a really great example for kids. And I think she's right. You reach those children, and then they grow up to be those innovators. They can grow up to be those engineers and things that the city needs. So you've got to break that generational cycle with that. And I think that she's got a great kind of plan and a future to be able to do that.
One of the I hear you talking about our children. There's nothing for our children here to do. I don't mind Devil Workshop. There's nothing here for the children in the city of Meridian to do. They don't have any activities to do outside of the church or outside of the Boys and Girls Club. This is something. When I grew up, and I'm going way back, they still have those centers. All the public houses had centers there, and that's where we played checkers game. They're trying to bring baseball back, but there hadn't been any baseball in Meridian for years. And definitely our education system, I don't mean any offense or anything, but our educational system is failing right here in Meridian, Mississippi.
That's facts. It's not even offensive. That's just facts. It's sadly.
And those are some things that, how would you as a city council person help address those two issues right there? If our children, they just don't have anything to do.
I would like to see some consistency. I think we have a lot of little special events here and there, but I would like to see some day-to-day, week-to-week consistency.
That's right.
Get these kids in a routine and develop a relationship. you know, where the volunteers there or the employees, whoever, you know, do these events, are really investing in these kids. And, you know, I would like to see some kind of after school program. It could be through the schools, it could be through churches. Maybe, you know, have a cap, make it free, but have a cap to how many people you can take. And maybe it could be by school district. This school district can go here, school, what am I trying to say? Yeah, district, as far as like where you live, your address. I would like to see the schools, you know, we could have some after school stuff for these kids and spend time with them, help them with their homework. I know there's a few things like that already, but I don't think there's enough, you know. And if we, you know, we know that we do have high poverty here, so we do have some people may not be able to afford after school programs. So if we can offer them that, then, you know, that covers that. And, you know, some people will come say, well, who's going to pay for that? Nothing's free. Somebody's got to pay for it. Well, the city, I believe, can hire.
There's grant money that anytime you're trying to improve, there's always some type of grant out there. You can attest to that. To help. But we got to have people that are willing to, a lot of the problems that I see is that the parents themselves may not know how to teach or to even raise their children if they wasn't raised in a manner that's going to create progress in education. So there's a lot of things in this community that has not been addressed, and we can't just continue to ignore it by us ignoring it. Is the reason why we are where we are right now. With the crime, with our children as young as 13 shooting and killing each other. And that's bad in this community. One of the things that I don't know whether you're aware of this is not is that the housing, the director of housing and the superintendent appointed their job, they're either hired or fired by the school board. So again, the people that are placed in these boards and on these boards are very important. But when it comes to educating our children and picking the person that's going to lead us, it's one thing that I know that there is no consistency among the different schools in Meridian Public Schools, and that points to leadership. How they do things at one school, they do it entirely different at another school. I've seen that. There's no consistency across the board with Meridian Public Schools, and this adversely affects our children. And for them to continue to, and this has nothing to do with you or you, but for them to continue to keep the same peoples in position of authority that have not been progressing is a failed system. And again, the people got it right in removing this administrator because he has not done right by this city. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent. I want your people to, I want her to win. I want her to win because I think it's time. And Dr. Thomas was my instructor, and I got my master's degree in 1998, and he was over the School of Education then. But it is time for us to just sit down. Hey, I'm not upset that I did not win. I want a younger person. I want younger people to take over, and we need to do that, and we have not been doing that. And look how this city look. Look how this county look, because people like me, we have not been sitting down. Well, I want to sit down, but because I'm vocal, there's not many people that will be, and I appreciate you running, and I anything I can do, you can welcome to come back. If you need me to help you in any kind of way, I will. You know, I want to help you, and it's good. It's good. That's why I saw you at West Hill. I had a daughter and a son, Cody Connor Hope going. That was my son, Connor Hope.
Yeah, we've been at West Hills. This is our 6th year because my daughter Taylor started in 4th grade. She's a freshman at the high school now. My son started freshman. He graduated 2019. Aurora started kindergarten. She's a 4th grader now. So we've been there for 6 years. So everything we're trying to do at West Hills, we needed done before we got there, and we're trying to do it now. But your consistency, that statement is very, very true. Very important. Because we live literally like right there at that dividing line between Poplar Springs Elementary and West Hills Elementary, and there's no reason those schools should be that far apart as far as they are in anything. And I remember there's a couple people that I've talked to. Anna Davis, before she left the high school, she was a choir director, and Chad Acton I spoke to the other night. And they have the same mentality as kind of me and a few other people. Like, we're all wildcats here in the city of Meridian Public School District. It doesn't matter which elementary school you go to. You feed into the middle schools, and you're all wildcats. So it should start at the elementary school level. It should be consistent in how all of these places are taken care of, or the resources. And sadly, something I got told is Poplar Springs gets more attention and stuff because more active parents are involved. And I was like, I know lots of people that are trying at West Hills. Like, I don't feel that's necessarily what's happening with that, but there's a difference, and it shouldn't be.
And I had I had two sons going to West End Harris. They had a different policy on when you can come and how you can come and how you can check out, as opposed to I had a daughter going to Parkville. It cannot. They need to have a consistent policy across the board, and they need to set their policies and procedures, and they need to stick to them like glue. Here you are a leader, and you have rules, you have policies that you're not following. Everybody knows how to read, and that's bad. And so we're in dire straits in this community right here because of our educational system is broke. And I hope right now, citizens of Meridian, you have an opportunity to fix that, because you have Rankin Easton that's running against Dr. George Thomas, who is a derelict that's been there forever. And you look at your city. We can like him from a distance. We can like him while he's at home. We don't have to, but if you're not doing this city a favor by not allowing for a younger, more progressive-minded individual to come in and take over that position. Anything you want to say?
Did you say that the school board is over hiring and firing?
Oh, yes.
Who do you say that? Director
The school board.
But the housing?
The housing authority is the same way. Like Ron Turner is the director of Meridian Housing Authority, but he's hired and fired by that board.
The school board?
No, the housing board, different boards.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I thought you meant the
See,
school board was firing and hiring him.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't understand that. Okay.
I speak real fast sometimes, but the different boards, each one of those have a board. The school has a board, and the housing authority has a board, but they do the hiring. But the mayor get to appoint. But you guys are the governing authority. I hope you guys don't forget that.
Yes.
The governing authority, it takes 3 votes to move anything. If that person is not qualified, I don't care how many times the mayor take you to lunch. I don't care how many times these rich folks offer you to come to their parties and try to offer you the brown bag. Don't take the don't go into the light, Caroline. Oh, man, I just did a little bit. Is there anything you want to say to that? And Dice, open up the phone lines in case the people want to call in. I want them to call in. They might have some questions for you.
About the school board, I'll say this. I would really like to see our school board be a grassroots movement of parents of children in Meridian Public Schools. Now, not saying that they all have to be. You know, we've got a lot of good people in this community who may not have a child in Meridian Public Schools, but I think it makes a difference when you have a child in the school district. I think you have more of a vested interest and you do really give it your time and give it your all, and you want the best. And the thing about it, we as a community, we have to realize, you know, lawfully in our country, the power is in our hands.
That's right.
But I think it's like for so long, because through different means of day-to-day life, it's almost like we've got in this rut of looking up to someone else to tell us what we can and can't do and what we need to do, what we're not going to do. And it's, you know, we just kind of go with the flow until you reach a moment where, hey, I don't like this, I don't like that. And then you start to see, well, what can we do to change that? And so I think, you know, get involved, you know, find out if you have a kid in Meridian Public Schools, like get involved, find out when school board meetings are, talk to the school board, like that's their job. You know, they're there for you, they work for you. And so I'd like to see that happen.
I think it needs to be diversified, meaning that perhaps maybe, say if it's 8 members there, 2, such as what you say, but I think the majority of the people on the school board should be educators themselves.
Oh, yeah, I think
successful
that's
educators,
yeah.
People with college degrees, people that really care, people that have children that went through the system, such as like you said. And also, I think the bar need to be raised for teachers. They need to. In Alabama, you cannot be a substitute teacher unless you have a college degree. And in Hoover, Alabama, which is among the best schools in the state, and Trussville, Alabama, you have to have a PhD in order to be a principal at those schools, and their high schools are college prep schools, where I think we have to write on APA style. I think for them it's MLA, I think, if I'm saying it right. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. But anyway, and when you go to high school in Hoover, you take the ACT, you make like 30, and you make high schools. I think 30 is the max or something like that, but they'd be way up there. They can go to any college they want to. I think we're going to have to do that, and we're going to have to. Teachers need to make more money. Okay, but let's take this caller. They need to make more money. Okay, caller, you're on the podcast with Rankin Easton and Miss Gonzalez. Teresa Gonzalez.
What up, Mr. Holt? What up, Mr. Holt?
Oh, hey, Lola. We know who that is.
Hey, Miss Lolo.
Hey, what up, Rankin? Look, I want to go back to something you brought up earlier about the appointment of department head, and Rankin stated that, you brought up about degrees. You got to have certain degrees, and she also stated that she went into saying that, what if they meet the qualification? I'm just paraphrasing. Okay, if the application is opened up and it said this is a requirement for the job, that's what they should stick with. For instance, it's been department head that were brought up for appointment that was overly qualified and didn't get confirmed in, and then they bring someone up less qualified. Let me give you a prime example. Some months ago, there was an interview panel board for the chief of police job. It was Jay Ayrton, Lieutenant Rita Jack, and what his name was, Louis Robbie. They interviewed for the job. They had an interview board panel of 5 people. 4 of the 5 people voted for Rita Jack. Only 1 voted for Louis Robbie. Percy Bland went against the grain and brought up Louis Robbie for confirmation. Now, mind you now, Rita has the education and she has a qualification. She's been with the city for approximately 25 years. She actually can retire right now with the time she have in for the city. And so Louis Robbie didn't waste no time. He didn't last no time. He eventually left, resigned or whatnot. And then they brought in a ticket writer, Charles Comer, highway patrol. He ain't got no experience in criminal law. He had been a highway patrolman for some time, but his experience for as being in a job for as law enforcement is equal to what Rita been in law enforcement. But she has the credential and the degree, and he's chosen Charles Comer. Charles Comer didn't last any time. Then he made Patrick Gale the acting police chief. Now, I don't know if Patrick Gale have a degree, but he doesn't have as near as much experience as Rita Jack has. Then Patrick Gale claimed he didn't want the position. He was just put there just to be put there anyway. He wouldn't run the police department anyway. And then out the blue, they bring up Chris Reed to be confirmed in. Now, mind you, all the other previous candidates, it requires a resume. Now, one single city council asked Chris Reed what was his resume. Not one city council asked him, have he ever dealt with a $5 million budget? The answer would have been no, but they never asked him the question. It's like they had a meeting before the meeting, and Weston Lindeman was blindsided. He didn't know this guy was coming up for confirmation because he wasn't even on the city council agenda to be confirmed in. There's a whole lot of dirt that goes on there. For as the vehicle, them taking the vehicle home, I don't think it's right for an officer to live on the other side of Philadelphia, taking city vehicle home. I don't think it's right for an officer to live in Little Rock and Newton, taking vehicle home. I don't think it's fair for any other employee that works for the city of Meridian, taking vehicle home. I don't even see some dropping off their children at school. I don't even see some on the weekend doing grocery shopping in the city vehicle. That's wear and tear, and that costs the taxpayer money. For as employee over the pay band, that's a good many employee over the pay band. That's the reason why some of them upset right now that Percy Bland lost the race Tuesday night, because they feel like Jimmy Smith or Weston Leonard, whoever wins this seat, is going to go back and revisit the policy. It's a good many of them making way too much money to do nothing other than sit on their ass on their job and be on Facebook and be all messy and shit, and they ain't doing nothing. So I just think that if you get elected, I hope and pray, Rankin, that you whoop George Thomas' ass. He's been on the city council board for 30-something years, just holding the seat. I don't even know why come he even ran for re-election. But anyway, I hope that you bring about a change. And boy, I have faith in you. I have faith in you that you would do it. That you would do it. I just hope that you don't allow other council people to lure you to go along just to get along. You run for Ward 1. So you got to represent your ward, not other people's ward. And the thing that need in your ward might not be needed in other wards. For instance, look how Ward 2 been underserved for so many years. It ain't been no changes over there. Percy Bland bragged about that Velma Young Center next to Magnolia School, but if it wasn't for Supervisor Joe Norwood and Ricky Hood, that Velma Young Center wouldn't even be there. That Children's Museum that's down on 22nd Avenue Heights, if it wasn't for the Children's Museum board member over there in Jackson bring that proposal before the council, that building wouldn't be there on 22nd Avenue Heights. Percy quick to take credit for something that had nothing to do with him. It was done up under his watch during time, being administration, but it wasn't done because of Percy. You know, he taking a credit for a good bit of stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with him. Like that Art Entertainment Center. That was John Robert Smith's project. Percy Bland just picked up the torch and carried it on. But he loved trying to take credit for shit that had absolutely nothing to do with him. But I have faith in you, Rankin. I hope you win that seat. I hope you bring up about the employee that's over the pay band. Because you got employees there that well deserving of to be making a decent salary. And they can't. I saw Percy Bland mama post on yesterday, and I can tell that she was in her feeling because her son was slaughtered on Tuesday night. Now, she said that Ed Kelly, she said CAO and the CFO are the most two important positions with the city of Meridian, and she said those positions are filled in with black. I guess she tried to make it a race thing, saying two black people hold the two highest positions for a department head in the city of Meridian. Now, what she failed to tell the people was there was a Kurt Goldagger, there was a Mike McGreevy, there was a Richard McAllister that had the chief administration officer job before Ed Kelly had the position. He only been there about a year. She failed to tell the people that it was an Ed Skipper, a Dave Whitaker, which are both white, had the job before Brandon, the CFO. You know, and then she go on to say that Eddie Kelly retired from Mississippi Power Company as the president. That was a lie. He wasn't the president. He was the district manager. He go on to say that Percy Bland saved the airport. That was a lie. I mean, she told a whole lot of lies in the post, but if a person don't know that the lady was lying, they would actually took her for a word. Let me say one more thing, girl, Grace, before I hang up this phone. Someone sent me a screenshot from this fake-ass Kim Jones page on Facebook. I want to bring this up, Rank, because it's very important, just in case you get elected. And I have faith that you will get elected. The fake-ass Kim Jones page screenshot a post that I made on yesterday. Said, see how Lolo lied? The city council control the budget. So how will Percy stealing money? Okay, here's the thing. The city council writes the local policy, and they have the city attorney do it, and they control the budget. Here's the thing. When y'all do y'all budget planning, y'all yearly budget planning, y'all put money into different departments, okay? Then on the claim docket, on the city council agenda, then what you got to watch closely, Rankin. Make sure you investigate that claim docket thoroughly. Because if you don't, Percy is the type of person which he will no longer be in that seat after the end of June. He quick to slide in stuff on the claim docket that the city council knows nothing about. For instance, they had employees that get raises, and they didn't know anything about the employee received the raises until Western Lemon became a city council. He was slide things up in there on that city council, that claim docket, and the council not paying attention. They didn't know anything about the employee was way over the pay band until Western Lemon called it out. But these are raises that were given to a Guilford City employee up under Percy Bland administration. The council wasn't paying attention. Now, some of the people that was over the pay band, it was doing the previous administration, but the present administration, Percy Bland giving a lot of city employees a raise without going through the city council. Also, the rumor has it, there's been $2 million that's been missing. So, you know, it's easily, even though the council controls the money, if you're not paying attention to that claim docket, the money can easily come up missing.
Thank you, Lolo.
So I recommend whoever wins this mayor race, Jimmy Smith or Western Lindeman, I highly recommend them to get an auditor to come in and audit the city, and maybe they can find it where that $2 million went to a few years ago.
Thanks, Lo, for calling in. Is there
right.
anything you want to say to that?
I'm open to all transparency. So if there's any discrepancies regarding any issue, I mean, I'm totally open and in support of getting to the bottom of it. And why not? And it's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Anything you want to say about that, Miss Teresa?
Just kind of in general, I think with this election, I think we need to realize that there's been a lot that has been accomplished, and it's not any one person.
Right.
But there's also been people that have had their chance, and
right.
while things have gotten accomplished, there's a lot that's been neglected a long time, so it's hard to justify, I did XYZ, X amount of years ago or whatever,
right.
or something that's not directly related to you, but you're taking credit for or whatever, and this is kind of across the board for city government and things like that. But what you need to realize when you're coming in is that maybe for some of these people, it's time for them to accept that they've accomplished many amazing things, and that's cool, and we appreciate it. But as an educator or as a leader, they need to kind of pass on their knowledge. I think some of these people that have been in position for a while are like, well, only I can do this job and nobody can know what I know.
Yeah.
But if you're a true leader and you really believe in the city and building things up,
That's
then
right.
you're going to pass that knowledge on. You're not going to hold on to it and be
Right.
like, well, if I can't do it, then nobody's going to know what I know that'll make things better or whatever. So I think it's important that if you can, you share your knowledge or experience with those people coming in, or those people. I was telling Rankin when she decided to run, like, you may or may not win this time, but it's a great experience to
Right.
learn from and meet people
That'll
and then
win.
put you in a position for next time. So
Yeah.
this
Well,
is a great start.
And
Yeah.
I'll say to that, even say I don't win, I've had the best time.
Yeah.
Since I put my papers in February 5th.
We got to claim this
Yeah,
because
I'm in it to win it. I'm
Yeah,
just saying. The
that's right.
campaign alone, I've
Yeah.
had the best time. I mean,
That's
that's why I'm
good.
here right now, is because I'm campaigning. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm getting to meet people, I'm
Right.
doing things, getting out the house.
and I got to know what kind of person you are. But just now, when I heard you speak downtown, I knew you was the person for the job. I
Thank
knew
you.
that. I
Thank
did. You knew it. You knew that there's no way industry was going to come in here if we don't fix education. We got to fix education. If we don't fix education, we'll never have nothing but hotel and restaurant. And that's the only going to do is just make us
yeah.
create health issues.
Well, and then another thing about that, on Facebook, there's all these groups, the mom groups and all that. And I just see woman after woman, hey guys, we're moving from here or there, or we're with the military, or, we're fixing to move to Meridian. Can you help me out with this? And it'll be an influx of comments, of suggestions, recommendations. And, when they start to talk about schools and buying a home,
That's it.
I mean, the comments are heartbreaking and accurate. And,
Right.
Somebody put it to me like this. We have 5 wards, and really, there's one area of Meridian that people really desire to buy a home and live, or look to rent, that when people start doing that, and I'm not downing anybody.
Well, that's in that North Hill area.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's I'm not downing anybody else where they live. It's not that. It's that I want all of Meridian to be desirable,
Yeah, and you are correct, but I got to say this about that. Somebody like me still would not come here because what about the children that live in North Hills can't stay in North Hills. They got to come to Meridian for something. They got to come to the mall. They got to go places, or either they got to leave and go to other cities in order to shop or for entertainment. So you could come here. You still don't have a quality of life that you can find elsewhere where they do have good schools and the crime is low. I made that mistake. I moved to McCalla, Alabama. This is upscale neighborhood. Bo Jackson went to school at Macadora High School. And my children went there. But Liscum does not have a high school or middle school. Liscum is one of the worst neighborhoods in Jefferson County. And so those children came there. And guess who all my children became friends with? The children from Liscum. And not only that, Bessemer is another bad city. It's trying to improve now because they have some houses there, but me knowing about Jefferson County would not pay $300,000 or $400,000 for a house in Bessemer when my children would have to go, or grandchildren would have to go to the Bessemer City High School because of the high crime rate in that area. So these are the kind of things that anybody going to come into an area, they're going to look at the school. If you have a failing school system, that indicate that you have a high crime rate in itself.
I have a thought about that I've noticed, and say we're right there between West Hills and Poplar Springs. Poplar Springs, West Hills both feed into Northwest. They all go to the high school. Those Poplar Springs parents, they come to West Hill, or they come to Northwest after 5th grade, and they're like, what is this? Because they're there with the West Hills kids and stuff, and it shouldn't be like that. My kids went to West Hills and Northwest. But what happens, and I've researched this, you look at city ratings and stuff, and Meridian has an A for affordability and an A for amenities. And what happens is the amenities are for the people mostly in the county that have more money, that can afford to come in and do hype and do all of those things. Then the people in the city can't afford to be driving across town or whatever and go do all these things. And then the affordability is with the housing authority and things. So they keep the city limits poverty, but then they build up the gentrification and
Right.
the amenities for the people out in mostly the county. And then it's not everybody,
Right.
but generally that's kind of what happened. And like Rankin said, what happens is those kids from Poplar Springs don't want to go to Northwest, and I'll get to the high school in a second, they don't want to go to Northwest, so they'll go to Lamar or whatever. But the difference is, and I've seen this with multiple families, is after, if they have to go to Meridian Public School District, have to or whatever, and we're all Meridian Public School District all the way, we're full supporters. But what happens is, if they don't go to Lamar or whatever these other schools are and stuff, these families will split and they'll have their sons go to Meridian Public School District because we have sports.
Right.
We have the athletic programs and
Wow.
things. We have JROTC.
Yeah.
So the county schools ship in their kids for JROTC. They ship in the kids or not for the JROTC. They ship in the kids for Ross Collins, for the welding, for the mechanics, for the concrete work, for all
Right.
that training at Ross Collins. They ship in their kids. The county schools, they ship their kids in for our amenities, but they won't live here. And most of these people, a lot of the people I see, don't physically help a lot of the time. So that's a
Right.
lot of the complaints and stuff that you'll get. I mean, a lot of the things is infrastructure, like Rankin was saying, and stuff for the people that live in this city. Like for me, I love that we have downtown and bringing in tourism dollars because I'm from a tourist state. I'm from Colorado, and that's big money. But if my kids can't walk down the street safely, then
Right.
what does it matter if we have a multi-million-dollar
That's
museum?
right. Because you're not
So-
going to do it. If not,
Right.
not if you're going to be safe. And that's it. Well, we're going to go to break right now, and then we'll come back and we'll take your questions and your comments. Dice Man, take us to break. Welcome back to Reaching Out with Eddie, where my guest today is Rankin Eason, candidate for Ward 1 City Council against George Helmer, and Ms. Teresa Gonzalez, teacher at West Hill.
No, I'm just a parent.
Just a parent, but she sounds like a teacher. But anyway, what is it that you want to say to the people before we read the comments and close out the show?
I'll say May 8th is the deadline to register to vote, to be able to vote in the general election, June 8th. So if you are not registered to vote or you need to update your information, you have until May 8th to do that at the Lauderdale County Courthouse, Donna Jill Johnson's office. Be looking out for the 3 Foot Festival that's coming up May 14th and 15th. It'll be Friday and Saturday. Me and Teresa just came from downtown at the Soule.
Sneak peek? They had
Yeah.
a sneak peek,
Oh,
so we
yeah.
got to see what they were going to have, a little bit of what they're going to have.
A lot of artists, a lot of events. They have a whole calendar of stuff. It's going to be really fun.
When is that?
May 14th and 15th. And
Okay.
there's stuff going on both days. On Friday night at 6 p.m. it'll be an art car parade. That's going to be neat. Different cars decorated and from all different states. And that parade will actually be led by the Clydesdale Horses and Meridian High School Marching Band. So that's going to be something to see. And then it says from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. dancing in the streets with a band called Compositions. They're going to be playing on City Hall lawn. That sounds fun. And then the next day on Saturday, they're going to have the run, the 10K, 5K, 1K race. And
I'm going to get in that. I'm going to run probably about 100 feet.
I've never done one. And
I seen Ember Kennedy do it. Wow, man, the 10K, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. It's some people
I'll
that
walk
do it.
it.
Have you noticed, like, the people that do those, like, love it? Like, they do
Yeah.
them all the time?
Emery's in very, very good shape. I've seen him run. He's an avid swimmer, and I saw him the last time they had that. I saw him running. I passed by him in a car, folks.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
But go
They're going to have all the art stuff, vendors. We got to see some of that, the artists. And,
Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
It's really cool. I took some pictures. I'm going to post those later. They'll have the youth art contest going on at Meridian Art Museum, and they're going to have a children's corner with some characters, pet and zoo, art activities, music and entertainment, a car show. So not separate from the car parade Friday night, it'll be a car show happening, antique muscle, Corvette, and motorcycle show. And food and music and just something to get out the house. You know, like, this is just a great time of the year. The weather is getting great. People are excited to get out. And there are just a lot of fun things to do, you know. So that's happening. Be watching out for that. And state games, slow pitch season is happening May 10th. That'll be the season opener for that, and we have a team. We're Elite Techniques 6U, so I'm coaching that team with my husband, and that's going to be fun. So we'll have the state games slow pitch tournament May 15th at North Meridian Complex, and then May 17th we got Mingle at the Museum from 5 to 7, and that's an event hosted by by Mississippi Children's Museum Meridian partners. $25 a person, drinks and some food, and just something to learn about what's going on at the museum, because you know, it's a lot of fun. We have been involved, and I feel like I haven't played a really big part in it, but I'm excited now to get to be more involved, and it's a great place. Me and my family, we bought a membership. That is the way to go.
How much is the membership?
Oh, it's nothing. Like a family of 3. It's like $100 for a year, unlimited visits. Plus, you get like 10% off of the gift shop, and you get invited to member-only events throughout the year. So we just go every week pretty much, and you just show them your pass, and I mean, you get well your money's worth for that. But they have them for, you know, larger families. You know, our family, we bought a 9-person membership, so we added some people on there, and we love it. It's fun. It's really good. And what I love about it is, like, it's teaching the kids about Meridian in a fun way. So you know, it's not just going somewhere and playing. You're playing, but you're learning. You're learning about Meridian. You're learning about life. You're interacting with other kids. Getting to be a kid. I think that's
kind of like McWayne Center up in Alabama, Jefferson County.
Yeah, but probably even better, I would say.
Better than the McWayne Center?
Well, and it just depends. I guess they're kind of in their own league in a sense.
Yeah.
But and then the outside area is about to open up too, and that's going to be cool because it's basically like playtime on steroids, I would call it. I mean, because the kids have a place where they get to be a kid. Nobody's, you know, don't do this, don't do that, or this is for the grown folks, this is for the children, and you get to just watch them have fun, and it's been great. I love it. I think it's great for our community, and really filling a niche, because for so long I've heard people say retirement community, retirement city, and it's like, no, we have got so many families here, so many kids. NAS Meridian is bringing in so many families, and we're thriving with that. I mean, we've got the families and the kids, and that museum is doing great. So the Mingle at the Museum, May 17th, $25 a person. Just come out. It's adult only event, and you know, just come check out what's going on at the museum, network, all that. And then May 20th is Queen City Committee's monthly meeting at Queen City Cigar. So that is a BYOB, bring your own food and beverage if you would like that, but it's just an open group. Anybody can come, and
where's this?
Queen City Cigar.
It alternates each
Where's
month.
that? I never heard of
Front
that.
Street.
Huh?
Front Street. It's closer by where Q-Tip's barbershop is and
I
Union
don't even
Station
know. Dice,
and
do you
all
know any of these
that.
places?
It's
Yeah.
across the street
Right
from the
across
Max,
from the-
right? Yeah.
From where?
The Max. But they
Okay.
have, Queen City Committee has a meeting at a different place around town every month. And this was,
Last month was Temple Ballroom, and I think the first one was
Weidman's.
Weidman's.
You realize what you guys are saying. I got to be able to hold you, Wyman's, Temple Ballroom. This is not where we go.
well,
That's not where it.
Maybe
no,
give it a try.
It's not even orientated toward black folk.
well, no, these meetings have been very diverse. I met Kristen Cockrell
It would not be at
Weidman's.
Wyman's if it was very
Oh
diverse.
no! This
I didn't go
group
to
this is a group spearheaded by Dr. Virginia.
Okay, but
Nelson
tell the
Carney.
people how they can contact you if
Carney
they want to
Nelson,
help
excuse me.
you. And you.
Okay, well I'm on Facebook.
You already sound like a city council person. She's from Meridian.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook, and I've got my phone number on there too. So you can message me on Facebook, you can text me, you can call me. But all these things, I've been sharing a lot of these things on my page for people to get involved. So about the Queen City Committee, this was spearheaded by Dr. Carney Nelson, right? Virginia Carney
Yeah.
Nelson. And she just kind of, I guess she got like an epiphany, like we've got to have more organization in our town and come together because we have all these events going on and nobody knows about them because we're not all in the same circles. So
they everything that you it's good but it's good. We just gotta find a way to make all the events more inclusive.
well,
that's
and I
all.
think it is because this what this is just open to anybody that wants to come, and then we just kind of talk about, hey, this is going on, write this down, or hey, what, can somebody help me out with this? It's really just been a social, like Queen City Social is really what it's called.
Right. Yeah. Where would you go? Because we've been to events with Tyrone at Ben Arthur Davis Park. We've been with Kim Houston out in her ward. We've been over with Dwayne Davis. We've been all throughout Meridian, like me and my kids. So we've gone all through Meridian. I don't know that there's a place we haven't been to, like Northwood Country Club or whatever. There's a couple places we haven't been.
We just need more. We need more things to do in this city for the targeted youth that are targeted, that are doing the shooting, the youth that are getting shot, that don't have anywhere to go, anything to. The parents don't have the $100 for the membership or the $25.
Okay, well, I'll bring you to this next event. Okay, so I already mentioned Encounter. That's at Cornerstone Church. That is open to anybody, everybody, all ages, May 21st.
Where's Cornerstone Church located?
On Highway 39. I don't have the address right off the top of my head, but it's on Highway 39, and that is, it's just a great atmosphere. I mean, we're just all coming together, worshiping, socializing, having a good time. The kids have a little thing going, 10 and under. We have a nursery, and we have the kids are playing board games and doing fun activities together. They love it. So then ages 11 and up are in the sanctuary. We've got music and prayer, testimonies being shared, people feeling led to share a word. They go up there and share. It's been pretty powerful. So that's once a month. And the next one is going to be on a Friday evening, May 21st, 6 o'clock. And if you can't be there at 6, you can come a little later. It's a kind of a come and go or stay the whole time. And then May 30th, we're having another FCA Sunday movie, and we're going to be showing the movie Courageous. And the doors open at 3 o'clock. The movie's going to start at 4. This is a free event. We want everybody to come out and watch this movie with us. My husband is an ambassador for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So this is something we've done together, and he'll be there, I'll be there. And the movie's Courageous. And concession stand will be available if anybody wants to buy anything, but it is a free event, so come out to that. And then June 8th, election night, we will be down at the Brick House downtown celebrating.
All right. I might bring my guitar in.
You should, yeah. And that's the thing, like, we got to come together because all this and that, and this side, it doesn't matter anymore.
I agree, we do, and that's the reason why we need people like you and Jimmy Smith or Weston Linderman to come in here, and the people that have been elected into this office to bring this city together. We've been divided for too long, and it's been the detriment. If it's to the detriment of any group, it's to the detriment of all groups. Yeah. Because you are inadvertently affected by anything that goes on in other wars, and so are you.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to come together, and it's good. Those things. Maybe the city need to perhaps come up with some kind of grant money or something like that, where they can fix it so people in public housing. I think public housing already has this money. You just got to have a director that wants to do that, where they can load the children up on a bus and bring them. And we're gonna read the comments now, Dice.
Yeah.
Okay. Ahead. Anything else you want to say before we start with those comments?
I don't think so. Not that I can think of. I'll probably think of something in a minute.
Right. Like vote for Rankin Easton.
Please.
Vote for Rankin Easton.
Rankin Easton for City Council Worldwide.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dice.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. We got Jim Myrick says checking in and sharing this broadcast.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim. You know Jim?
I do.
All right, we got Dominique Jenkins says, hello to my classmate, Rankin,
hey,
MHS
Dominique.
class of 2004.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
My son said he went to school with you.
What's his name?
Tarius Holt.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. We got Michael Moore says, run, Rankin, run.
What up, Mike?
Hi.
What's up, Mike? Jim Myrick says, hello, Eddie, Dice, Rankin, and Teresa. Break a leg, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Jim. Again.
Okay. All right. Sam Bell says, Assalamu alaikum to the Queen first, then to the two kings. I am here in Illinois listening to the show.
Hey, Sam.
What's up, bro, Sam?
What's up, bro, Bell? Okay. Mississippi B. Mac says, what's going on, guys? Rankin, I hope you beat the emergency brake off of George Thomas.
Never heard it said like that. I hope you win, too.
Okay. Fred Wells says, good evening, good people.
What up, Fred?
Hey.
What's up, Fred? Ellen Franklin says, good evening, peeps.
Hey, Marie. You know Marie?
Okay, well, you said Ellen? Is that her?
Marie
Okay.
Franklin.
Yes, I know Marie, and I wanted to say this about her. She reminds me of my grandma that passed away. That's so funny. She reminds me of my grandma. But on the show the other day, she said, what'd she say? We don't know it all, but we can come together and figure it out.
That's right.
And I mean, that just made my heart stop. It's like,
Yeah.
it don't get
Profound
any,
statement.
no more simple and true than that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Johnny Magruder says, I know Mr. Thomas ain't still there. He tried to fail his students. I hope you win, and I'm happy Jimmy won his administration. His administration going down. I'm reading it the way they wrote it. His administration going down. Made hell even a little bit hotter. I hope you win, Mrs. Easton.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let me see. Get my camera back. All right. John Magruder also says, I have a question for Miss Easton. If elected, will she try to open Kate Griffin up because it's no sense the building is good and nobody has used it? Also, what will you do? I can't see here. What will you do when an appointment is made?
I do think we should go look at these buildings. What is it, Witherspoon, Kate Griffin, just sitting there, right? No plans I know of anything to happen. And I think our school system could benefit from opening up some new schools, and let's make some smaller classroom sizes. Because, gosh, I mean, I can't imagine, this 1 to 20 teacher to student ratio or 20 plus kids in a classroom, because I have 4 kids and a dog, and so that's a lot. That's a job in itself. And I know that being a teacher is a little different than being at home with the kids, but that's a lot of people that need a lot of attention and time. And I have spoken to a lot of educators in the county and the city, and a lot of them are feeling overwhelmed with a lot of work that's required of them by the state or by their, who's over them.
We're just paying the wrong people too much money. Need to pay teachers more money. We need to, and we do need to decrease those classroom size. But he asked you about the appointments too.
What did he mean by that?
When Jimmy Smith going to appoint someone for CAO,
Okay.
or Weston Linderman going to appoint someone, I guess he want to know how would you vote. And you can only answer that question, but I'd like to touch upon Kate Griffin. Kate Griffin is too old. It would have to be torn down, or the new school have to be rebuilt, because you have asbestos there. You even have trees growing on the top of it now, and it just would not be cost effective to go in there. Maybe on a temporary basis but one of the things that the schools could do is they could have the way the charter school law is written. If I open up a charter school, and if Meridian Public School or any public school has a surplus school building, they would have to lease it to me at $1 no cost. But they just wouldn't do that. They do not want charter schools here, because when the student leave the public school and go to the charter school, they take the tax dollar with them, and Meridian Public School or any school system don't want that.
Well, I'm open to anything that's going to bring about some positive change. I want to hear it all.
Well,
Sorry, real quick, with the school, because we're at West Hills and Northwest, those schools are at capacity now.
Right,
They've
I
had
know.
3 trailers built at the back end of West Hills. I don't know if many people realize that West Hills Elementary has approximately 500 students. The other elementary schools only average about 350. So West Hills is already 100 plus students over the other elementary schools. So they've got even more kids. And then Northwest is the biggest middle school. And so when you're talking about classroom sizes and stuff, not everything is consistent, not everything is equal. Some of these areas definitely need to start looking into the future of expanding, because even if Meridian stays this population, which we hope it does not, we hope it expands and grows in the future. Right now we're already at capacity at those schools, so something does need to be looked into.
Yeah.
It may not be Kate Griffin, but something does.
Well, the money from medical marijuana and from the lottery, they don't they taking that money and they basically enriching themselves and their friends again, as opposed to it needs to go into the school system. But because a lot of our school system are public schools as opposed to private school, it doesn't get a lot of money, but they could. We actually have enough money to fix it. We could build schools. We could pay teachers more, but it points to leaderships again. We fixed it here in Meridian, Mississippi. We need to do it on a state level too. Some of those guys been there too long, and it has not benefited this state. When you have something like a lottery that's making the millions of dollars, you have casino that's making the millions or billions of dollars that they're making, and school system is not improved, then we have people that need to be sent home. That's what democracy means, temporary job. And now we got medical marijuana. What are they going to do with this money? They could tax it. They could tax it instead of trying to stop it. Not only have medical marijuana, have recreational marijuana. You can't regulate morality. People going to smoke it. It has medicinal value. Take advantage of it. Let's fix our school system. We have a lottery here, and we have casinos, and now we have medical marijuana. But our school system is still like it is. We need to pay our teachers more money. We need to get all these people that are in office that saying no to that and put people in there such as like her and yourself. You could even run. And the Dice Man can run. The Dice Man ain't going to do that.
No, sir.
Well, I'm officially retired.
Awesome.
All right. Oh, you want to say something? Okay. All right. Let's see. Johnny Magruder also said, as well as what are you going to do to help my nephew at a failing school where guns, drugs, and violence is all around him?
It shouldn't be that way, you know?
I agree. It should not be.
I mean, that's
that way.
just crazy, you know? I mean, these kids should be safe at school. They should be happy. They should feel like it's a safe place for them. And, I mean, you know, like you say, you know, you got to start, okay, we got our teachers, we got our principals, then you go up from there. You know, somebody's got to be accountable, and we cannot let this happen. And that's why, too, I feel like if we can get some more schools and spread these kids out, there's just too, you know, they're really overpowering the staff. You know, there's more of them than the staff.
Absolutely. Some of those kids, they will overrun.
One of the things they did in Jefferson County and Bessemer is that the old high school, they turned it into a middle school. And they built a new high school with the land and went straight up, which was big enough to accommodate future growth. This is something that they got to look at here. We're just going to have to, if we want this city and this state to be better, we're going to have to invest in education. We can't get around that.
Well, and we see all these other things being built, you know, so don't think that this is a far-fetched idea here to make a school.
I like that. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just going to take somebody taking the steps to make it happen.
Yeah, well, West Hills Northwest, that campus is 62 years old.
Right.
Both those schools, and that's the same playground equipment out there. I swear that is like that slide and those handful of swings.
And that's one thing, they could build 2 new schools. They could close, you know, a new middle school, and they could build and just go up, build it big enough to accommodate and remodel these schools and make sure they're safe for our children, and decrease those classroom size and pay those teachers more money. You don't pay them enough, nowhere near enough money.
Well, and that's, you know, I know several teachers and other employees in Meridian Public Schools that have walked away because that's what they felt like they need to do. It was too much for them. And then we got some in there that are, you know, they're digging in and they are being a light, and these kids adore them, and I thank God for those people, because it's the people. It's going to take people influence and showing these kids you can be anything you want to be, and I'm going to show you how, and I'm going to support you. And, you know, because something like that I've felt like it bothered me is just thinking some of these kids that are involved in activities and sports and arts and all that, you know, sometimes they don't have a parent there, you know, a family member, a friend that's actually supporting them, and you know,
that support network is
so
not there.
I'm glad, you know, it's going to take the community filling that void. You know, we got to support we got to invest in our kids. We got to invest in people, you know, and like things like infrastructure. You know, I just feel like the infrastructure should just happen. We should just budget it in. You know, we're going to spend this much money on this, and that. Hire the people, do the job. I just don't think it should be an ongoing conversation. I feel like it's been years of the infrastructure conversation, and I'm just really bored with it. I care because, I mean, I don't know how many flat tires.
You
I
think
had
about
to-
driving over here. How
Yeah,
rough was that
we-
just driving
we
here?
hit a bump.
Like
that-
it startled her.
I was like, because I was like, I really cannot have a flat tire on the way to reaching out with Eddie because we're cutting it close. But I just think we should just fix the roads. Like,
Yeah.
what is there to discuss? It's not a political platform to run on. It's
Right.
just
We
it should
talked
just
about
happen.
that. The county schools and stuff bus their kids into Ross Collins, and we talked about that. How these schools outside of Meridian Public School District, they don't want their kids to go to our school, but they take advantage of the amenities with Ross Collins and things.
Isn't that something?
And the other thing with charter schools and situations like that, and I know because I've had children who have had IEPs, is they don't have a requirement to provide special needs services to children in these other schools. And so for speech therapy, these other schools will use Meridian Public School District speech therapists. So a lot of people don't realize the amenities they get taken advantage of and utilized, and then these people, become successful outside of Meridian, but they don't understand that they got that training here. You can literally start pre-K with this program here. You can graduate, go to Ross Collins, get dual enrollment
And how
credits. You can
about
go to
that was a
MCC, you can
requirement
go to
when we went to
MSU,
school.
you can get your master's degree.
Yeah.
All of that right here in Meridian. And what Rankin was saying is you start with those kids, they learn welding, they learn concrete work, they learn all of those things, auto mechanic. They built the Tonka truck and the A-Team van and stuff out there. So you raise those kids up, you intervene now, you break that generational cycle, and that'll help because they'll be active, they won't feel hopeless, they'll feel like they have a purpose and they can achieve a goal. And that's a lot of it, because yes, you have to reach a home, but not everybody has somebody supportive at home, but you reach them and have them filled with some sort of hope and give them resources on their own, let them know that they can be independent, and then they're going to be busy, and you can be like, look, you can be out making money, you can be out, help and support this or promote this or whatever, and then you break that cycle. And that's what I think Meridian has to do, and I hope we can do with this next administration, is kind of break that, just like passing the blame or looking the other way or whatever kind of things have been happening, and really address a lot more of these situations. And something else you mentioned is be more inclusive.
Right.
I have gone to a lot of events throughout Meridian, and some of them are one group of people, some of them are another group of people. Some people I've never seen at different events. Like some people I will know over here, but I will never see them come to different sort of things. And then something great about when we go to Art Walk, we've met people from county schools, we've met people from churches, and I think that's what Rankin was saying about the Queen City Social and things, is that we're trying to kind of cross those boundaries and bring people a little more into the inclusion and give them that sense of power as an individual and say, you can be part of that change and you can make a difference. And she's right, it starts with those kids, and that's what
And
I think that's
parenting.
great.
We gotta have the parents
Well, and
like
the
that.
parent education aspect, because I think oftentimes the biggest thing I heard was after Katrina, a lot of people came up, sent their grandkids and stuff up here, and a lot of grandkids were living with older parents that couldn't take care of them, and that's kind of where things, I guess, started to slide. I wasn't here back then. That's kind of what I
Way
heard, was there a
before then.
shift. So wherever it happened, I mean, we just got to say, okay, it's happened.
Now
We're
let's
gonna move
fix it.
on. Yeah.
Let's fix it.
Yeah.
Dice.
Okay. Okay, Pearline Boyd says, love your show.
Well, thank you, Miss Moore.
Tony Owens says, nice show.
Thank you, Tony. That's Triple T.
Okay.
These some pretty ladies in here, Tony. You gonna stab me?
I'm gonna get him, Tony. All right. Jim Myrick says, Teresa is the epitome of good parenting and community involvement. I'm proud to know her.
Thank you.
And that's it. Want to tell everybody to like and subscribe.
And I'll add this. 2 verses for y'all. Bible verse. Proverbs 29:18. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
A lack of knowledge. I didn't know where that come from. Thank you. Anything you want to say to the people after your verses? I know you want to tell them to vote and make sure they get out and you appreciate their help. And you're taking donations too, right?
Oh yeah, I've got a Cash App and a PayPal. PayPal Rankin Eason at yahoo.com. Cash App $ Rankin Eason. And you think $10 $20, you know, it all adds up if several people do it, you know. So I'm just using this money to put myself out there, attending events, different costs, just to get out there and meet people, talk. If you ever see me out and you want to talk to me, please feel free. Like, I love this. I enjoy it. I love Meridian, and I'm just ready to see big things, and I already see big things. I'm loving it. So I think we're headed in the right direction. It's just, we're all, you know, politics isn't everybody's thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's not interested. They don't have time for it. But just take a little time to really look at, okay, what ward do I live in? I know a lot of people, they don't know what ward they live in. Okay, who's my council person? Who's running? Get to know something about these people so you can make a choice for yourself, and don't
That's
ever
right.
feel like your vote doesn't matter, because it does. These things add up. Like,
I have a story to tell you real quick. I heard George Thomas said his very first election, he won by 1 vote. Like, his very first election that he ran for city council for Meridian, he said he won by 1 literal
Yeah.
vote. So that your voice matters.
yeah, so that one, you know, this isn't like the electoral college with the federal election where, you know, all that. This is like coming down to every single solitary vote. So then maybe that one person out there that says, you know, I'm not voting, you could
Make a difference.
You
Be
may
that one person.
win this thing for me. So, you know, you got till May 8th to go register to vote for the first time, or if you need to update your voter registration information, and go to the courthouse, Donna Jill Johnson's office, tell them you want to do an application, take your ID, just, that's, you know, or you, yeah, they'll send you a voter registration card in the mail, and it'll tell you your precinct and where you need to go vote, and it takes, like, no time at all.
It took me like
I mean,
2 minutes every time I go vote.
Yeah, it
I
takes
go
no
in,
time at all.
they take my name, whatever, get my sheet.
Well, and then you also get to, like, teach your children about it, you know?
Right.
Because politics should not be something we just, like, stuff away in the closet and, okay, that's not my thing. I think, you know, you just like your arts and your entertainment, your career, your family, politics needs to be a part of it. But it doesn't have to be the biggest part, or you don't have to spend a lot of time, but just get to know what's going on, what ward are you in, who's the council person, who's running, who do you like better, who do you feel like will do a better job, and take that time to make a vote. And you really do feel a sense of pride about it, because, you know, we do live in the United States of America. People risk their lives to come here. I mean, they will get on a little inner tube and float across the sea just to touch the ground here, because they want this. They want to be in the land of the free, where the power's to the people. You know, don't get overwhelmed and intimidated that the government is in control of you and they get to tell us everything and tell us what we have to do. You know, power is in our hands, and we can work together. I mean, you know, the government is there to serve the community, and so I'm excited about it. I've learned a lot. I've met a lot of great people. This has been fun. I like talking. I like to hear what different people's issues are, you know. So I'm here. I'm available. Please contact me on Facebook or by phone, 601-934-8126. If you want to share anything you want me to know, or you want to ask me anything. And I'm having a yard sale this Saturday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. So if you're interested in coming by, message me or call me. I'll give you details on that. And I don't know. I guess that's all
Well,
I
we
can
thank
think
you.
of.
We appreciate you coming here and appreciate you coming. I wish you luck. If anything I can do, you already know how to get in touch with me. I do want a sign. I want to put a sign outside
Okay,
on that
well,
main street.
I don't
Is
have any, but if I get some more, I will be happy to give you
Okay,
one.
that'll be great. But anyway, we definitely going to do all we can for you to win.
Thank you.
Dice, anything else you want to say?
That's it. We're good.
Anything else you want to say, Miss Teresa?
I did want to say that Any Given Child Meridian is an arts integrated learning program that has been, I think this is the 3rd, maybe 4th year. And so we are trying to integrate arts into all history, math, all of those science classes and stuff, to have more diverse reach in our children, because they not all learn the same. And so there are steps being taken in Meridian Public School District through the arts and stuff. Marsha Iverson goes out to the Meridian Housing Authority and stuff, does summer camps and things. So we're trying through a lot of different programs, but like Rankin said, we need a little more cooperation, coordination, and awareness so that we can let people know what is going on, and that way they can either help or they can know that something is being done, so
Right.
they can not be upset like, oh, nothing's being done. Well, yes, there are things in place, so let's keep those momentum going and let people know.
Well, thank you again for coming, and thank you. And Dice Man, take us home.